North Dakota land where the skies are wide and the freedom stands. With a Bible in my hand and a prayer in my heart, living this life where the wild plays its part. Dust on my boots and my hat pulled low, got my trusty rifle and I'm ready to go. Hunting the game as the sun hits the sky in the heart of the 701. I feel so alive. Guns and the 701, that's how we roll. Faith in the good Lord, that's how we hold the line of the legacy that runs through our veins. In this wild, wild land where the spirit remains, we're living free, living bold, side by side, with God on our plate and our hearts open wide. Ranching the fields, the cattle run free with a purpose so strong, it's our grand legacy. The rivers run deep as we cast out our lines, fishing the waters where the North Star shines. Got the warmth of the sun with the chill of the night. With every shot fired, we're ready to fight for the freedom we cherish. The second is true. With family beside us, we stand through and through. Guns in the 701, that's how we roll. Faith in the good Lord, that's how we hold the line of the legacy that runs through our veins. In this wild, wild land where the spirit remains, we're living free, living bold, side by side, with God on our plate and our hearts open wide. In a world that's spinning with sins that they wield, we stick to our values. Our fate is revealed with the word as our guide. We tread on the earth, a community built from the love, not the curse. Raising our voices, singing loud through the night, for God and our freedom, we'll continue the fight. Let the rifles ring out, let the spirits align. In North Dakota's embrace, our souls intertwine. So when you hear the gunshots and feel that proud sound, know it's faith and freedom that echoes around. From the fields of the ranch to the depths of the lake, with God on our side, there's nothing at stake. Guns and the 71, forever we'll stand in the heart of our faith in this great free
All right. Good evening, everybody. Episode 172 here on this February 11th, the year of our Lord 2026. I want to welcome everybody to the show. We got a great guest on tonight, District 31, North Dakota Republican House Legislator, Dawson Holle. If you don't remember that name, he was the youngest guy ever elected to the North Dakota Legislature. Going to have some great talks. Not necessarily all gun stuff, but I thought it was good for you guys to meet a guy that's going to be running in the primary. I'm going to try to have, I know that there's going to be another person out there along with Karen Rohr who's also going to be running in that primary. So I'm going to welcome that. Well, let's get this started off like we do every single show. Lord, we'd like to thank you for the beautiful day that we had today and the bounties that we've all been blessed with. Everything is yours. We give it all up to you. Without you, we have nothing. So every blessing that we have, please help everybody to use that to your glory. Please watch over the men and women who are serving this great country in its defense, as we all know that we are founded on Christian values. We ask that you bless us every day, give us food and shelter, keep us strong, keep us faithful, and help us to find that we do everything in your will. In your name we pray. Amen. And, of course, I love the Second Amendment. So I put this up here. I know this by heart, but I put it up here so everybody can see it. Hey, the Second Amendment is a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. To me, that's probably the most important 27 words written in our entire Constitution, because without that freedom, and nobody wants to go to war, nobody wants to kill anybody, I hope not, but there is times when, unfortunately, we are faced with those decisions. And without the Second Amendment, we would not exist. We would have been gone a long time ago, not just celebrating 250 years this year. So we want to thank God for that as well, because he has allowed us to exist that long. So I got to make some announcements. 701 Marksman. Guess what? We can announce it coming up February 22nd. That's Sunday evening, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain. David Fettick is going to have a guest with him. His name is Garth Weber. I think you're going to love this guy. This guy's probably forgotten more than I'll ever know about firearms and shooting. He's going to have an introduction, of course, what the show is going to be. How do you get into competitive shooting? And that's what this show is all about. Competitive shooting, types of guns, building guns. You're going to want to listen, because David's going to have some great stuff. Bench talk, he says that's what's on the reloading bench. Any questions and answers, things like that. And then, of course, we're going to have him on later tonight. He's going to be on the last, half hour, 15 minutes. Whenever he chooses, I know David can log in here. He knows all the controls. So whenever he wants to, we'll just have him come in here. And Friday nights, you don't want to miss that. Blackbeard Logic with Leon Francis, every single Friday night, unless he's running a little bit late. But anyway, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central. You don't want to miss it on all of our outlets here at Guns in the 701 Network. I'm going to be joining Mitchell in the morning again on KFYR 550, 8:15 Central, 7:15 Mountain. I was gone last week having a good time down in Black Hills with the family. So Leon did a great job filling in, but you're going to tune in for that as well. Of course, now starting, and this is important, February 19th, that particular weekend, everybody, remember, Guns in the 701 Wednesday night will not be on the 18th. It's moving to the 19th for Lent season. And that will be running through March 26th, because I like to attend my Lent services. So everything moves to Thursday night. We did that last year. Everybody seemed to find their way over there. And we go February 19th, starting that Thursday, all the way through the 26th. It'll be 6 weeks long. And make sure you tune in on Thursday nights, because if you come here Wednesday, you're going to have to watch a rerun. I won't be here. So anyway, keep that in mind, everybody. And, of course, Sunday mornings, it's the Sportsman Sunday Devotion with Vance Bishop. He's on at 7 o'clock a.m. Mountain, 8 o'clock Central. He does a great job. He usually, on that half hour, 45 minutes, he just has a great devotion and then ties it all in with hunting. I mean, I can't do that, so I'm glad that he's able to get that done. With that, I think I got all the announcements covered, and we did it probably in about 5 to 10 minutes, so I feel pretty good about that. I'm going to introduce you to Dawson Holle. We'll see. I think he's waiting here. And there he is. Dawson.
Hey, Clayton. How's it going?
Very good. Very good. Welcome to Guns in the 701. I think this is the first time you've been on here.
I think it is too. And, I'm having flashbacks, because last time I ran when I was 18, you invited me too, but this show wasn't started yet. And it was on the radio with JD. And so I'm having flashbacks to this, but
I
just
forgot
in a different
about that.
setting.
So, yeah, now we're a little, we've come a long ways. We got pretty good base now, a lot of listeners. Right. 4 programs now on the gun. We had to rename it Guns in the 701 Network. And you can thank Todd Mitchell for that. He's like, hey, you guys are going to have to call yourselves a network now. So we did. But
oh, awesome.
So, yeah, I'm glad to have you on. And I know that I fill in once in a while for Daryl. I have filled in for Michael. So if that happens again, maybe we can have you on. And I'm sure Todd, if I talk to him, he'd love to have you on. And I'd even give you my Friday morning segment to talk. Like I said, I want to have you, and I want to have Karen as well. And then later on, I'm gonna make a little announcement, and it was okayed. So you already know the news, but I'll be making that later too for somebody. So
big news are coming. So
yeah, it's gonna be an interesting primary season in District 31, probably for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so, and I think it's good. We need competition, so it'll be good.
Competition's always good, and let's remember, we do have term limits now. So everyone's going to be termed out eventually. Yep. So you got to get a bench. We don't have a bench. We got to have a bench.
Absolutely.
Hey, Eric, good to have you on. Danny says, great song. Yeah, I didn't know I was a songwriter, Dawson. I typed in what I wanted into a AI creating thing. I put it out there, and I put it to, asked it to do some music, and boom, it created it for me. I was having copyright things on Facebook, and I'm done with it. So even the national anthem, which my sister sung, and there's no copyright on it. My sister gave me full permission to use it. No, they ding that for copyright violation. I said, are you kidding me? Yeah. So I guess we'll just do away with them. Hey, Leon, good to have you. Justin, good to have you in. Axel, hey, Lauer Auto Repair. There isn't a better place in town. Dawson, if you want work done, you got to go down to Lauer Auto Repair, because these guys know how to do it. So you're going to want to hook up with them down there on 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck.
There we go. I know my next stop.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Axe and the boys do a great job down there. Dan says, good evening from the Western Ed. Dan, I was just in Dickinson briefly yesterday. I would have stopped and give you a holler and had a cup of coffee, but I literally was on the clock. I had to get up there and get back, and I did. There was no appointments, Dawson, in Bismarck to get a new purchase licensed and registered. So I just had to cruise up there and get it done. And you can get in anytime. You don't even need an appointment up there. So it worked out pretty good. Leon said, I had a great time last week with Todd. I know, I was listening. The hot body Todd Mitchell in the morning. Thanks for the hookup. So, see, we get a lot of BS and back and forth even with comments. So, all right. So, hey, Kelly, good to have Kelly, another good friend over there in that Valley City area. So we got everybody tuned in. The numbers are looking good. I just can't see the Twitter numbers because they don't do it. And Twitter, I don't know what's happened over there. It's like they're throttling back the page. They truly are. We do not get the views on there that we used to get. And I think it's because they want you to up their level. If you look, they sent us all a deal. We already do the minimum so we can broadcast live. Now they want you to go to that next level and pay. And whatever. I'm a capitalist too, but I'm not going to do that for that.
Absolutely.
So, first of all, I want you to talk about, I guess, who you are. Some don't know you, and why you're running. I think that's a good place to start.
Absolutely. Well, my name's Dawson Holle, and I'm a 6th-generation dairy farmer from Mandan. And originally why I got started for the legislature is because my family's industry and the constant decline in not only dairy but animal agriculture all over the state of North Dakota. And Clayton, last time I ran, I believe I said that there were 30 grade A dairy farms in the state, and now we're down to 17. And so you're looking at a complete drought soon in the state of North Dakota. And it doesn't seem like a lot of politicians want to talk about it because they want to say that everything's good in agriculture and all that. But we need some real reform, or we're not going to have the next generation in animal agriculture. And so that's something that I've really tried to pivot to work to reform, is how can we get back to, the homestead life. And so I passed legislation, both sessions, that bipartisanly, overwhelmingly, that removed red tape for animal agriculture. And Clayton, because of that, we now have 25 raw milk dairy farms, small farms in rural North Dakota, all across the state. You talk about an industry that has constant decline, like this is the complete opposite. And, it's interesting, the people that say that, raw milk's going to kill you and all that. But it's like God intended for us to drink raw milk. It provided us for that. And there's so much health benefits too. And so, like raw goat's milk is great. There's a lot of people that are lactose intolerant, but, they can now take the raw goat's milk and make cheese, and their family can have a cheese pizza again all together without having two separate meals. And so you talk about not only bringing family farms back, you're also bringing family back together. And so that was kind of my original crux to running, and still is that we need to expand local processing in the state of North Dakota. But we also need to make it's a huge thing now is affordability. Young people are really struggling, and all all people are struggling across the state. And so if reelected, affordability is my number one issue. And so I have a few ideas on how we can make affordable, whether that's outsourcing diabetic drugs from Canada, because the United States, that's way too expensive. And so we need to be creative on how we can make North Dakota the most affordable state, because it is affordable compared to living in Arizona or Florida, and that's great. But with record amount of inflation and everything else, it seems like this generation and the next generation have to make double to triple the amount of money just to keep up. And so that's my crux for running, is I want to keep North Dakota values. I want to bring conservative roots to Bismarck, and it seems like sometimes decisions that are made in Bismarck are only made by people that work and live in Bismarck. And that is truly unfortunate, because oftentimes I see legislation and it's like, man, did you actually talk to farmers and ranchers before you actually did this? And they're like, well, we did a survey. I'm like, what? Anyone could have filled out a survey, but did you actually go talk to people? Did you actually go actually have like a coffee in their local coffee shop? Like, we need to get back to those values, and that's why I'm running, because I want to represent everyday North Dakotans. Not necessarily are we always going to agree, that's people in general, but I believe that we can agree that, government is too big right now, especially in North Dakota, in our state government, and we need to really reel that back in, especially with the price of oil. And there's a lot of things that we need to do to set ourselves up successfully, so that we can preserve not only this next 8 years, but future generations, because with term limits and all that, we're going to need the people involved, because it is a little terrifying of term limits. And I'm for term limits. I'm absolutely for term limits, but I've seen how much power is in Bismarck, and it's a little startling, because I was a young lawmaker, and I'm still young, but there's a lot of influence.
Yeah, you're still young.
You're right, absolutely. But there's a lot of power being wielded in Bismarck, and if you don't have people that are emailing you every day and every night on, these are some bills that you need to keep on your hopper, about making sure that they don't pass, or that you do support it. It can be a lot, because you're inundated with 1,000 pieces of legislation, and you got 80 days every other year, and so you're reading bills every night, you're getting constituent calls. And so I think we need to involve the people more in the process, because I feel there's such a disconnect. Even with my friends, they think I serve in Congress. Like they they call me a state senator or a mayor, because they don't even know my title. And so it's been a huge education standpoint too, a lot of people in my generation, on how we can make their opinion and get them involved, because they don't know. And what you don't know really can hurt you, especially when you have government growing at the size it is.
Yeah, government's growing way too fast. There's no doubt about that. As far as how you covered a lot of stuff there.
So I did, yeah. I went on a rant, so you could have stopped me, but
no, that's okay. One thing I've learned to be a little more humble here in the past 6 months, and to listen. And I like to hear those arguments and those things. But I will put this up. So this was one of your re-election flyers that I guess you had out, and I just wanted to put it up because it's what you want to deliver for District 31. Cut taxes and red tape, protected newborn lives. You led the bipartisan MMIP task force. What was that, Dawson?
It was the Murdered and Missing Indigenous
Oh.
Task Force. So
Okay.
it's very long for a flyer, and so my
Yeah.
campaign guy, summarized it, but it should be like maybe have smaller quotes because it is hard. But that was truly devastating when it was in my second session, and they were like, Dawson, do you know how many people that are going missing on the reservation? I truly didn't know, and they're like, last year it was 20. I was like, you're kidding. And they're like, there's just so much red tape if someone goes missing on the reservation versus off the reservation, and whose jurisdiction is it? Is it FBI? Is it the tribe? And there was just this need of like, hey, I don't care where you come from. We need to get in a room and solve it. And we also now have the feather alert that this task force is all implementing as well. And so this task force is actually where I'm going. I'm going up to Turtle Mountain tomorrow actually for this task force meeting to see how it's working in Turtle Mountain. And so I'm excited about that. But Clayton, I want to talk about something that every session, every bill that I introduce passed. And so that's something that not a lot of lawmakers can say. And so I wanted, we need to really, when a lawmaker puts a piece of legislation in, they vet it months in advance. They get groups of lobbyists involved. And so that's what I've tried to do, is involve the whole process before session gets in. Because if you just put a piece of legislation in and think that you are going to get all the parties together and all that in 80 days, I hate to break it to you, but that's almost impossible. And so we need...
luck with that.
Right. And with term limits, we even need that more on how we can be doing legislation in the off season. So then, and there's been proposals about like, how can we craft legislation in the interim better and stuff like that. And so I'm excited for what the future legislative sessions hold.
Okay. Well, I'm going to throw this back up here. And you got, supported Main Street business and fought for family farms and ranches, which you talked a little bit about. So, as far as getting back to the reservation stuff, you and I are probably going to disagree on a lot of things. I live here. I see what goes on. I'm not a fan of the tribal government. I hope nobody ever mistakes that I don't have, I have a lot of tribal members, a lot of Indian friends, but I don't think much of the tribal government. But that, I think that's pretty much something a lot of people agree. And I see what happens down here. To me, it looks like they're a laundering operation, if you want my honest opinion. I've been here a long time. I've seen it in South Dakota. I see it in North Dakota. Now, as far as the problem with missing people, it's huge. And I can tell you why. You've been down here, just not like I live here. It's vast, okay? This reservation's vast. It covers North and South Dakota. And then it butts up next to the Cheyenne, which is just a continuation. And there's some rough ground on this reservation.
Yeah, there is.
And I'm not talking rough people. I'm talking rough terrain. And then you have the MS-13 people over here. DAPL brought a bunch of them people in. They truly did. They were set up. Had a good friend who worked for the BIA, and he was in the enforcement for wildlife. And then I knew several of them other guys. They couldn't do nothing with them for a lot of reasons. They were outgunned. They're evil people. Some of them had meth labs. They stayed. They're still here. Nobody's doing anything, and I think they're also involved in the they take people and they enter them into, who knows, the sex trades. Who knows where they go, Dawson? I don't know. It's a bad thing, and whether you're on the res or off the res, that's a bad thing, and it's a problem nationwide. Luckily, movies like The Sound of Freedom brought that to light. I think that helped. I think the Trump administration's aware, but yeah, everyone can't put up their silos and say, "Oh, not my problem," right?
Right.
Shouldn't be doing that. So yeah, that's why I mentioned that one, because I didn't know what the initials were for. I guess I knew about the task force, but I didn't have any clue what that was for. So, I knew it existed, but I didn't know that. I'm not a big acronym guy. I hate it. That's something came about in my lifetime. So as far as getting the ag issues, there's a variety of reasons. I didn't realize that many had disappeared in that time frame from when I first met you, as far as on the dairy side. I have my own dairy cow here that we milk. She's bred again finally, so we'll be having fresh milk here hopefully in April. But
does she have a name?
Could be. I call her Cow. I'm sure. I think she calls her Shadow. I don't name my animals. They're my food and my food source, and I don't name my food. So.
Fair. Like she's steak, and then you got chicken.
Yeah, I might call it burger. That. Yeah, I'm a butcher out there. Burger or sirloin, but yeah. So, but yeah, I really like fresh milk. I don't like pasteurized milk. In fact, when I get low and I have to resort to buying a gallon in the store of whole milk, it just don't taste the same as it does right here.
Yep.
And I'm sure you can relate to that.
I know. I drink raw milk straight from the farm, so I understand that completely. So
and you're getting all the good stuff in it too. It's
True,
right in there with I would say, the new food standards, and I'm sure that RFK Jr. would be proud that we drink that kind of milk.
Absolutely, we need more, and so we got whole milk back in school, so we're slowly making a transition back. So
should have never been removed. And Trent Luce has always been a big advocate of that too, and I have too. I've never, I guess I grew up probably drinking whatever mom and dad bought, which was 2% a lot of times. In school, we always had whole and 2% when I was in school, and then that changed under, I think that was when Obama came in. Yeah. And I'm not so sure. Weren't they down to 1% in some of these schools, or skim milk?
Yep, 1%, and then 1% chocolate, and then skim milk. So basically water in some senses. So
yeah, why drink it?
Right? I know. Kids, a lot of that's all I had in school, and it's very unfortunate because kids would drink milk at school, and they're like, why does this taste so bad? And it would actually turn a lot of kids away off of milk. And so I actually think that the Obamas did a lot of disservice in trying to make kids healthy, but they went over in the extreme on kids need natural brain fat for development. That's a proven fact.
Absolutely. And they actually damaged the whole system and the trust of the system. Let's just face it. That's what they did.
Yep.
And it's still, you're seeing it today. But you're right. You got to have fat, a certain amount. You got to have proteins. You need these things that are in real food. Whether it's, you got to have a certain amount of red meat. You got to have all in moderation, right? Anything will make you fat and unhealthy if you indulge in it.
Right. Absolutely.
But I think getting rid of processed foods, and I don't know, it's been a while since I've been in school, but the processed foods that I seen come in from when my kids entered school, we didn't have that. We had actual cooks in our lunchroom that made the stuff with ground beef. They made the stuff with buns and bread that they baked right there in that school. Well, now they buy it all. So it came on a truck. It unloads the stuff. They become warm-up facilities. That's not good food.
No, it's not. And that's the worst part is even going to Mandan or some others, it's why does this everything come from a can? I've always said that we should hire, a retired old Norwegian Germans and grandmas, and they work and provide us because they have the best recipes. And I talked to schools. Yeah, I talked to schools about this, and they're like, well, we just don't have enough manpower. I'm sure the people would approve that. Number one, you would have healthier food, and it would probably be what, $20 to $40 an hour to bring in another or one or two more cooks on board, and you have actually better food. So I know and it's very unfortunate that we're going down this road of all processed. The Cisco truck shows up, and I have nothing against the company, but when everything comes from a can and is out of state, we're very dependent for our food, because a lot of things are coming from out of state, and because North Dakota doesn't have a lot of processing for food, period. And so that's scary, especially
and that has shrunk. There used to be a lot of that in all of both Dakotas. It used to exist.
I know.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that we need to get back to more niche and local processing, because the feds regulate that you have to have milk served in schools, which is great, and I support it. But it was honestly putting a lot of cap on the schools, because they're like, well, we can only serve 1 or 2% or 1 or skim milk, but you have a local dairy farmer down the road that has a pasteurizer but can't serve that in their school. And so you're like, how can we also get local beef in schools too? And so we're
finally accomplished, but
right. Yeah, and so we're slowly working towards it, and that was a part of the rural transformation committee, and that we got through the One Big Beautiful Bill, that a portion of that money is for making North Dakota healthy again. And so that was something that I was really passionate about. And so for SNAP, we banned candy and sodas from, and so that was great. And so we're slowly trying to make rural North Dakota healthy again. And so I think we did a first step, but the implementation, I think, is going to be the interesting part if they actually follow through with it.
So I'm going to throw a comment up here. And everybody, feel free to drop comments in, because I'll try to get them get them into you guys. 100%, Leon says, all in moderation. That processed garbage is crap. We had lunch ladies, that actually cooked back in the day. Absolutely. I mean, I'm 51 years old, so I've been out a while. Now more money thrown at public ed with much less quality and even lower results. That is so true, Dawson. They keep throwing. It isn't a money. It is not a money problem. It's how the money's spent.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I hear on the radio that the public school up there in Bismarck, the public school system had to cut this and cut that, cut custodians, and I'm sitting to cut the music department. I never heard one mention of cutting sports.
You're very
sorry.
true.
And I wrestled, okay? I'm not an anti-sport guy.
Yep.
But enough. These schools spend so much money on athletics, it's insane. If you can't educate and feed your kids healthy, maybe they need to take a step back and go, what are our priorities and why are they so mixed up? I mean, it's that simple.
Absolutely. And I think that, like, even in high school nowadays, it almost feels like they're running kids like around the clock for their sports. Like out then a lot, like take football, for example. They're now doing football all year round.
Yep.
Like if you're not in that sport all year round, you're not starting. Like, why are we burning kids out? Like, you're not in college, you're not playing in the NFL. Like, let's actually have kids have fun and enjoy their high school career, because it's such a short amount of time, and leave the politics out of it. And so that's been something that I wish that we would bring back more, is being able, because it's almost like even the divide is like, you in Mandan that I saw is that you either had to choose sports or 4-H, because there wasn't no middle ground. And that was kind of complicated at times, because I wanted to be in both, but the schedules were overlapping. And then you had, I was in hockey, and you had yogas on Sunday evening, and then you had weights in the morning, and then you would have practice in the afternoon, and then games on Thursday and Friday. And so it's almost like you're a college athlete in high school, and you're talking about kids.
I do believe that's about that part of that's about distraction. Keep the parents busy, keep the kids busy, distracting them from what the real problems are. Let's face it. I think the public school systems are a failure. I have for a long time. I know you were homeschooled. You did go into school at some point, but you were homeschooled for some time. I think that's the best avenue for every child. And as the numbers came out this year, what did we see in North Dakota? Right?
Yeah.
And people, well, it's because of this and that. Part of it is what they're teaching. There's no Christian values whatsoever taught in a school anymore. None. And there is no separation of church and state in the Constitution. It doesn't exist. That was one court decision in the Supreme Court that did it with a liberal bank in there. I mean, no, not a bank, but you know what I'm saying? Liberal judges dominated it. That doesn't exist. The First Amendment says freedom of religion. That's it. Doesn't mean you have to bar it. Doesn't mean it can't be part of something. Doesn't mean you can't even have it part of your school. And luckily, we're seeing, South Dakota did it right away. They got In God We Trust. Every school by law in the state of North Dakota has to have that posted. Bravo for them. And it's been challenged in court, and it's been upheld. You have the 10 Commandments that just returned again in Kentucky, back to the Capitol building. There's actually been a few states that brought them and put them back on their Capitol ground. You have the freedom of religion, not freedom from it. If you get offended, too bad. And this is the problem. And you can bring back things in schools if you tell the feds to stick it. If you don't take their money, you don't have to do what they say.
That's very true. And I do think that the schools do need reform. And, we had a bill that was brought by Representative Hoverson to put the 10 Commandments in schools in North Dakota. And it was something very basic. Like, it was literally just a poster. It could be hanging right next to, whatever social agenda you want to put next to it and whatever. But it was just a simple thing, and we couldn't pass that in North Dakota. And I'm like, it's very disheartening too, because it almost seems like education, we want a one-size-fits-all model. But
it's not just that. It's more than that, Dawson. The other side wants you not there. They don't want any pushback, and you're supposed to believe what they say and only what that's what that's about. And if you push God out, you can't even let a glimmer back in. Someone might not think like the liberal ideology, plain and simple. So Eric, I like what Eric, and he's right, because calling school food or calling schools food is a stretch. that crap they served wasn't edible. Glad I lived close to school so I could walk home and eat. A lot of kids did. I have to say, and Eric's a little bit younger than me, and it's funny because my wife isn't that much younger than me either. And the divide between them guys and me and what I saw in school and them, you'd think we were decades apart. And that's how fast it changed in that 3 or 4 years. Dan says 100% Clay. Yeah, Eric says public school equals liberal indoctrination center, and that has been my belief for some time. I seen this starting already back in the late 90s when I was still in school. Luckily, I still had teachers. They probably didn't even teach you this. So most of my teachers in school were men, and they went to college on the GI Bill after they got out of World War II, Korea, or Vietnam. That was who our teachers were. They encouraged them to go in so that there were strong figureheads. I mean, that's what that was about. We don't have that anymore. And them men fought. They knew what it was like to have freedom. They seen things, right? And they came back to make sure we were better people. So they didn't let this liberal ideology creep in until after they all retired. I mean, when you look at the teachers that came through those eras and then came into school systems, we had a pretty good school system. And then the 60s happened. And I'm telling you right now, if we put more men and women coming back from serving, that would help. Okay. But we have got to kick the liberal ideology out of school. My goodness, Dawson, I even found it in our own school when I was subbing over there. In their government book, the Second Amendment wasn't what I read you guys and what I told you. It said it was basically a militia and it was the right of the state. That's how it had been worded. It wasn't our right. It wasn't the right of the people. Wow. It was the right of the state to maintain a militia. They had rewrote it in that book. It was in our school. I got it kicked out, by the way. But
I'm sure you had a nice conversation with the library gal.
Well, it was actually in our government class. And they got rid of those books and ordered new ones. Got to remember, though, at that time we had a good superintendent who had our belief about our country, about our founding, about our rights, and we don't have that anymore. I'm glad the superintendent she's stepping down and going away, this new one, because she's no good. But here Justin says, I don't care who I piss off with my belief. Public schools indoctrinate your kids to be mindless drones for the corporate masters. So I'll address that and I'm going to let you talk to it. And then we're going to take a break and come back. But I've thought that for many times. The critical thinking skills. And as I got to be an adult, Dawson, and I'd hire people, whether it was here, whether it was when I was working construction in those drought years. I don't know, but your generation and above it, maybe the next one after it, they didn't seem like they had any critical thinking skills, Dawson. And I was looking at the things they were teaching in school. Well, they don't want the kids to think. I mean, when my boys entered school, my youngest, he landed. He's kind of a go with the flow guy. He has his own opinions. He just moves on, and of course he graduated. He graduated with really good grades, but they didn't change him. Leighton's like me. He'll call a spade, and they very much infringe on that. They don't want that happening. Of course, I've had many discussions. Most of the teachers understand it. And I've said, well, I've taught him to be that way. He's not going to submit to your stupidity. If it's wrong, it's wrong. He's going to call it out. And I said, you should encourage kids to have thoughts, but they don't want it. They don't want it. And I noticed a lot of the teaching today isn't done like my teachers did, where they actually read material. They had knowledge of their subject, wrote their own tests. Now they're pulling them off of some website. They're using IXL, which I think is a horrible program, honestly. I think it's completely worthless, the way that if you don't get things just right, boom, and you have to start over. It's very frustrating to a kid. They learn nothing, really. And I don't like IXL. I think we need to get away from using the internet for everything, because it's being used way too much, and get back to actually teaching and interacting with the students, not just printing something off from some curriculum that the school bought online and giving it to them, because that's what's happening. To me, a lot of teachers, not all teachers, I can't lump them all in one. A lot of teachers are lazy. They're there to collect a check, deplete my oxygen, get their benefits, and retire. You go.
Well, I would definitely agree with the electronic portion that you said, because, and I think that when I was in high school, we first kind of started implementing 8th grade, middle school to high school, we implemented the iPads. And I think that was kind of the first transition where I've really seen the transition of educational learning. And I always am the belief that even with Governor Armstrong removing phones from school, I think that is the core thing that we need to get back to, is more you need textbooks and honestly conversations with one another. And so that's something that, that I think that it was really good that he did last session. I think we need to keep going because, now that we have artificial intelligence in school, I tell you, you pull up your iPad and you name an AI thing and it can tell you all the answers. And so instead of the kid learning, they're wanting to just get through all the assignments, and then the AI thing you could literally take a picture of your assignment and the AI will tell you the answers and do it all for you. And so you're teaching kids to complete tasks, not learning. And so we're really...
You just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Completing
and so
tasks without question.
And that's the hardest part, is like your education actually means something. And how do you bring that back to kids that just see I have 13 assignments and I need to get done by midnight. But you also are kids and you live in and you have lives. So, I feel like we also need, why are we putting so much homework and stuff like that? Let that be done more in school. I even tell you, I had this teacher and she drove me crazy. She wouldn't even teach. She would say, this is the assignment on your iPad, do the assignment, and if you had any questions, come up and talk to me. Well, you had the whole class coming up because they didn't understand the material that you were learning, and I'm not a great math person, and so I was constantly up there, and so it made my self-esteem feel bad because I was always up there asking questions, and then pretty soon the kid or the student isn't doing as well because they're afraid of always being up there and their peers and stuff like that. And so we really need to change education, and I think it really starts back at getting rid of a lot of electronics in school and going back and actually, I think we should bring back a lot of textbooks from the 80s and 90s because I think are more complex than today's. Like, why redo math? Like, that still floors me. Like, that I just don't understand it.
But and then I look and go, so take geometry. Here's a great subject. Geometry I do use every day when I'm fabricating something or fixing something or building something. Real geometry, figuring out my angles, whatever it might be. Theorems, I have yet to ever use a damn theorem.
Right.
My uncle, who's an electrical engineer, has never used a theorem. So why do we still teach that junk?
Right. And we need to also be teaching kids more business classes too. Like, there's a lot of kids that don't even know how to write a check. I'm like, are we serious that we don't even know how to write a checkbook or stuff like that? But checks are seems irrelevant. And unfortunately now we have Apple Pay and all that, but it's still a basic thing that everyone needs to know, or like balancing your checkbook, or because, our generation is becoming the most in-debt generation because we rely heavily on credit cards. And so
it's the philosophy, and I think which doctrine it comes from. You will have nothing and you'll be happy as long as you're taken care of. It's that whole, and they were talking, my teachers were always talking about the cradle to grave society, how we didn't want to become Europe. I've been out of school for over 30 years and this was being taught then. Luckily not in our schools at that time. Kelly Chase has a chalkboard with kids at it. Even I had marker boards, but dry erase. But yes, we had to do things. Even simple algebra, I think you need. I don't think you need to go into the complex things unless you truly are going into a profession where you need to do those things. But simple arithmetic, you need to know. Simple geometry, simple equations. You need to know how to do that, even on the ranch and the farm, especially today when your profit margin's like this, right? You better know how many pounds you're feeding to each animal. And if you can cut this and still, what I'm talking about running a dairy. And I do that when I feed my calves. I want to get the most bang for my buck. It's an economy thing. So I think business classes are a very good idea, which we used to have. You could take that, and back then they were still using ledgers. And then you did things with a checkbook. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been in school, but remember, we didn't even have cell phones. They existed, but nobody had one.
That's true.
Our computers were 486s, and that was a powerful computer, 486 bit. So yeah, with a monochrome screen, by the way. And our internet was within the college system in South Dakota. And you put the phone on the modem so it could dial at each other, dial the computers, and you could communicate with the university. So, yeah, we were at the very cusp of that in 1990.
That's cool.
I mean, so there's quite a generational gap, I say, between you and me, which I think that's another thing. Why aren't we having these conversations? Because you guys can give us something and we can give you something. And I know there's a solution there, but they don't even want to talk about the past anymore, which is not good.
It is, especially now that even our founding fathers, or even when you talk about Columbus is now canceled in a lot of schools,
crazy,
or stuff
isn't
like
it?
that. Yeah, and even Native American heritage, we need to honor that too. It's part of our North Dakota's history and stuff like that. And so
depends on what they're teaching, man. I've seen some of the curriculum when I was starting out in college. I first was going to start out in South Dakota, and one of the requirements in college. Now, shouldn't have been, because that wasn't what I was going into. Yeah. And I was looking at the curriculum. It was dumb. It was stupid. It was almost as bad as the woke ideology today. White man bad, and we killed everything. Well, yeah, we did some bad things. Okay, we won. Period. There is that, and I can give you the whole entire Sioux history on how they raped and pillaged and fought and killed other tribes on a daily basis. So not everything is rosy like they like to portray it on either side, and they don't want to do that. They don't want to give both sides. So, I mean, I'd have to see what the curriculum was if they're going to be teaching that crap. I'm just saying. I'm not. They want to be their own. My biggest issue with the reservation system is the reservation system. Get rid of it. It's not sovereign. I don't care what they say. And become Americans and thrive. They are their biggest enemy with their tribal government. I have a love for some of the traditions of the Indian people. I do. Yep. In fact, some of the medicines they used to use and some of the things that it's awesome. But get government out of it.
I know. It adds so much more red tape, and they get all their money from the federal government, and the state really doesn't have any say on what happens. And so with education going back to the states, that's something I'm really optimistic about, because the tribes are now going to have to go to the states and to what their pot of money is. And so...
it's sad, and they probably didn't teach this in the schools anymore, but it still exists whether they want to believe it or not. The reservations, the way they were created, the people within them, I'm talking the tribal members, did you know they're still classified by the federal government as wards of the state? That is their official United States classification to this day.
I did not know that.
Yeah, most people don't, because no one reads history anymore.
Fair.
And you can go through the congressional record minutes. They're at the Library of Congress. They're online now. One good thing with technology. So I'm kind of an info nerd. I've done stuff like that.
That's awesome.
I did it the old way. I had to actually place an order, have it sent out there, and they'd send me the information. That tells you how long I've been doing that. But yeah, so let's go to a few. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think you need to be a history teacher. I would sign up for that class.
Well, ironically, I was subbing doing that when I got back from college. I was helping out, and I was doing government and history. And yeah, I still see some of them kids today because they're still in Lemmon. And now they're cool. Family men, and they run and own and manage businesses. And hey, Mr. Peterson, I was like, really? 30 years later. But they learned something, and that's what they talked about. How much I literally took that teacher's thing, because I was there for 6 or 8 weeks at the end of the year. I threw it in the garbage, and I pulled out all the old stuff that was still in that room that my teacher had.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's the lessons we had that last 8 weeks. So I know the teacher, when he come back, he was not happy, and I really didn't care. He was a big leftist. Should have never been there in the first place. So I'm going to go to a few of these comments. Brian says it's a damn shame that it had to come from the governor to get phones out of the schools. Even more disheartening that so many were opposed to it. Yeah, I remember when that was going on. I couldn't believe the pushback on that, Dawson. I really couldn't. From parents. Oh, I got to be able to get a hold of my kid. Well, call the school. I'm sure your kid's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So Axel says, what is the difference in age between Dawson and the average lawmaker in North Dakota? Oh, my goodness. What are you now, 21?
2. I know. I can now drink in a bar. So
all right. Yeah. So you're 22, and I don't know. The average lawmaker's got to be 60 plus, aren't they?
I would think so. Yeah, there's definitely some that are in their 80s and 70s and 80s. So, yeah.
There you go, Axe. Yeah, when you think about that, no kidding. Yeah, you're right, Dan. Civics class, absolutely. We do not really teach civics classes anymore. And that was a requirement when I was in the 7th and 8th grade. That was our precursor to government and history later on. Let's see, 56K. That must have been when we were talking about teacher wages, maybe. I don't know. Axe, we had the Oregon Trail game. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Do you remember? You probably don't remember that at all, do you?
Not really. That was a little bit before me. I played it a few times because now it's like on your phone and stuff like that.
Oh,
where, like you die in dysentery and stuff like that.
Okay, but there was a little more to it because remember, you're on Commodore PET computers, Commodore 64s. You had some 286s, 486s. But you'd ask a question and it didn't understand you. So you had to rephrase the question.
Oh, boy.
I mean, it was a lot different. And yeah, then all of a sudden, ran out of time. You died. You did this Oregon Trail. Oh, my goodness. And on a monochrome screen, by the way, it was very pixel. Yeah, you can't even imagine what we used to use things. Eric says, my dad still has an Apple II GS computer he bought way back in the 90s. Eric, me and your brother used that computer when we were in high school. He said he spent so much on it back then he just can't toss it. Yeah, you imagine that. Computers were $2-3 grand and they didn't do anything. Eric, my brother made cat tags on that thing. Yeah, I know that. I was sitting right next to him when we made those cat tags for hunting. Yeah. Blackbeard Leon says, I like this kid. There you go. You got Leon's vote of confidence there, Dawson.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks, Leon.
Says, I think I got a couple GSs around here. Might take them out to the range day. There we go. Oh, 56K dial-up modem on the internet. That's right. I forgot that's all they transmitted. Now I'm running 1,000 megabytes per second here of Starlink. Isn't that something? Susan, she says, many years back, I worked in a bank. A gal asked me what deposits had to do with writing checks. I explained that this concept of what having a checkbook was about was most concerning. That's just it. You talk about not being able to do a checkbook. Most people don't even record a ledger and balance their checkbook. They really don't know what's in their account. To me, that's just crazy, Dawson. But is that something we're seeing with this next generation, being they use cards, they don't use a lot of cash, and no checks?
I think so, and I think that there's now apps that do it for you, but why are we allowing an app to tell you how much you have and how much can you spend on food and how much can you spend on travel and stuff like that? And so
you mean a budget?
Yeah, a budget, right? Yeah, where you have to put a certain side for your mortgage and then groceries, car payments, and all of that. But yeah, I think our generation is it has a lot of doom and gloom, but I'm also pretty optimistic too, because I know that there's a lot of people that are really hard workers in our generation. And I think I think that's how we're going to get out of it, is that we are going to have to work double or triple as hard to get out of it. And so I'm pretty optimistic about that. There are some downfalls that I've seen, but I think that we can try to start eliminating it here or there. And so with that, I think it's going to be interesting because it's also personal responsibility too, so you don't get all the crap too. And so also having yourself biblically involved in a church and also center yourself around a community as well is something that a lot of kids my generation really don't have. And so when you don't have those factors, it can allow a lot of people to feel lost. And when people feel lost, they get desperate and they do desperate things. And so
they have mental illness, they're depressed, and it's all due to, let's face it, a lot of this is due to the fact there is no moral base in their life. They have their belief in God is questionable or minimal, unfortunately. They don't regularly read Bibles. They don't regularly attend. Attending a church, to me, well, that's a whole nother discussion, is so important because it gives you that family, that church family, and that support. It's so comforting. I don't know how else to, why wouldn't you, right?
Right.
But
It's more than just the getting the coffee and lemonade or whatever and the cookies every Sunday. Like it's
yeah,
like seeing your neighbors and you go and you help if
it
one of
binds the
your
community together.
yeah, it does. And I think we really seeing that separation on a lot of, it seems like in churches and stuff like that, it's a lot of the older demographic, but there's a lot of churches that are actually involving the younger demographic too, like Evangel and Bismarck. I got to give a shout out to them. And so they're really involving young people in. And so I think I'm really optimistic on what Evangel is doing, and they're starting chapters all over North Dakota. And so, and it could be like the religious, a Charlie Kirk thing that he started in schools, and maybe we need that in schools too. So
I'm telling you right now, after Charlie Kirk was killed and murdered on September 10th, I'm glad to see that it has not went on a downhill slide. The things I'm involved with and I watch, I still see it. It's alive and well, and there is a growing number now of young people that have found God. They're going to church. They're getting involved, and it's big numbers. So that's good. That's promising.
Yeah,
it really is.
Charlie Kirk's life was amazing, and
31 years old, and what he crammed into that.
Yeah, he truly did so much for the youth and engaging. Like Donald Trump would not have won the presidency if it was not for Charlie Kirk, and I say that with all due respect to Donald Trump, but he engaged.
I think he knows it.
Yeah, and he engaged an audience that I think the Democrats took advantage of a lot. And they're like, oh, they'll just vote for me because, all college people are Democrats. But then when they actually went the other direction, then it really scared them in a good way. So
in a good way. And I think you're right. The Democrat Party, just like the black people, they take them as, oh, they're ours. Well, they're not anymore. And that's good because they've had nothing but disappointment since they voted Democrat, just like the young people. It's just it's just the way it is. But Dawson, we really need to take a break. I know I'm not on a time schedule like radio, but we've been at this an hour. Can you believe that already?
Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. So.
It does. And I'd like to keep things at 2 hours. So we're going to take a break. I think we might jump to something else. I got a couple questions, but the one I really want to hit on briefly is the suppressor thing, because you are a legislator. And I think that the people I was talking with today, it sounds like we are going to try to bring something in the next session. So I know it's symbolic, but it's important. And we're going to come back right after this and talk about it.
LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalon's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalon and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just 1 block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemmon. Kalon's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
for the best gun gear for every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul's, Streamlight, Holle, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton LaserCraft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton LaserCraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton LaserCraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton LaserCraft, where memories are engraved.
All right, we are back. Already an hour by. Thanks to all our great sponsors. Lauer Auto Repair. Again, 309 South Washington Street. You want to head up there. Just up from running. Just keep going up south, and you're going to run it into Lauer Auto Repair. Hey, Horton LaserCraft does a great job. Look at that, Dawson. I love these things.
Awesome.
I have beat the living tar out of this thing, and it holds. It keeps working. It's doing great. Little Angry Man Arms, that's where I ordered my suppressor through. I mean, we got some of the greatest sponsors. And then Kalon's Auto, well, I think I paid for his sponsorship this year at all the repairs I've had done locally in Lemmon. So, of course, I go up to Doug up there. Lauer Auto's been with us since day one, so we sure appreciate them. They're
Awesome.
like grandfathered in as our legacy sponsor. So we love them. We just love having them on board. So, okay, I got to talk about this. See, David's waiting in the wings here too. So, Senate Bill 2 passed the South Dakota Legislature. If anybody doesn't know what that is, it's an 11-page bill. That's a little one, isn't it, Dawson?
Oh, yeah.
And an act to provide that a firearm silencer is not a controlled weapon. What it did was it declassified in the state of South Dakota. As far as the state's concerned, it's not a controlled, dangerous weapon. It's not a machine gun. It's not these things. It's just a suppressor. Now, what did that do to change things? Not much, okay? As far as the feds go, it's still an NFA-regulated item. You still have to get the background check. You still got to go through that whole process. The tax stamp is zeroed out, so there's no $200 tax stamp for each suppressor that you purchase now. But I thought what was great about this is, even though it was kind of a symbolic thing, they changed the 22-1-2, Section 8. Controlled weapon includes, they, of course, struck a firearm silencer, but they left in machine gun, short shotgun, and does not include firearm silencers. And those defined, of course, in the subdivision below because they were all struck. So it was kind of really, I mean, it just to play out. It's, you know how this works. When you change an actual entire section, they strike words, right?
Yep.
And that's how it becomes law. I mean, when you look through the rest of this, it's all pretty much standard stuff. There wasn't a lot of different things. They did amend it, though. It didn't pass without an amendment. The amendment was interesting. So it's a whole new part of that section. Any person who knowingly possesses a controlled weapon is guilty of a Class 6 felony. And then they changed the provisions of this section do not apply to any person who, of course, has a valid or has a, so it used to be a state, but now just has a federal license issued for the weapon or has registered the weapon with the proper federal authority. And So some people are kind of raising a lot of cane about that. Oh, well, it's federal. Well, yeah, it's a federally regulated item through the National Firearms Act of 1934. So they just struck the state because so many states put it in there too. And I don't know if a lot of people are aware of that. We're going to look at North Dakota's because I'm not even sure, Dawson. So I got to see how they classify it. And I would love to do this in North Dakota. It changes nothing other than it removes the state from the equation. So let's figure this out. If and when the NFA is ever found unconstitutional and struck down, which is a really good chance it's going to have standing being it was based on a tax, we'd be ready and set to go. And that's what this is about. If you read all this, this is setting it up to A, support the Second Amendment, B, declassify a hearing protection item, a piece of metal that essentially makes it quieter. And it will be ready now that if an NFA ever goes away, guess what? You don't have to worry about the state because it disappears and they probably can open up for business in days. And it'll flush out anybody who's a commie by the vote. Here's the interesting part. What do you think that the numbers were on the passage of this within those chambers?
I'm thinking that there was a lot of squishy rhinos that did not support it. So I'm thinking it was probably, I think it would probably pass by like 10 votes in either chamber.
Well, unlike North Dakota, we have those. But in South Dakota, on the Second Amendment, if no one pays attention to South Dakota's legislature, and under Christy Nolan, now Roden, the Second Amendment's done well. This thing passed 34. I think this. I gotta get this right. Senate 34 yeas, no nays. Unanimous.
Wow!
How about that? It
That's
went
awesome.
on. It went through the whole. They had the amendment. They passed that. It was passed as amended. 66 yeas, 0 nays. So this thing cruised through. Once it was pretty much, they had the committee hearings and they did one slight change, approved the amendment, and then sailed it through to the governor's desk who signed it on Tuesday. How about that? That's a Second Amendment legislature.
That's a victory. That's awesome.
I don't think we could do this in North Dakota. I think we get it passed.
I think it would be close, unfortunately, and that's probably the hardest thing to say ever because we should be a very pro-red state.
It should be like that, 0 nays. Yeah, I mean, the Democrats in the state of South Dakota, because there's Democrats down there. It's actually not as Republican as North Dakota as far as numbers. Mm-hmm. They voted yes.
Wow.
So I wanted to point that out to everybody because, my goodness, if South Dakota can do this and you can get Democrats and Republicans to unite around freedom, which the Second Amendment is, we got some reflection to do up here in the state.
We do.
Because I imagine you would be on board with this.
Well, absolutely. I know that my chamber neighbor next to me, Representative Koppelman, would probably love to sponsor it too. He brought all the gun bills, and so he's probably already knows about it too.
I'm sure he does. I should touch base with Ben, and I really should get a hold of Jeff Magrum and Holle. Mm-hmm. But the guys, we need to be talking. And I think Brian is going to be coming up too. He's the NRA guy. So, 34-0, Little Angry Man. Justin asked, what district are you in, Dawson? In what area is that? I know, but go ahead and tell him.
I'm in District 31, so I represent parts of Horton County. I'm very gerrymandered around Mandan. I have the new high school, and then I follow the interstate by the paddle trap, and then parts of southern Mandan. And then I also have Sioux County, Grant County, and parts of Hettinger County that include Regent and Mont. So. Yep.
Yeah, Sioux County, which is where I'm at, you completely got Sioux County, and I think we are the most desolate county. I don't know.
Well, I gotta give a lot of credit to you because you helped me. We did a lot of door knocking down there, and so that was fun.
And we ran out of time, and so we talked too much, I guess. But we need to do it again. I know Alex Blas. By the way, did he make District 31? Because I told him about it. I think Tom told me he made it.
And he's a great speaker, by the way. And so I think
Alex is.
he I think won a lot of people over that night. And so
He's
I can't say
knowledgeable.
enough about him. Yeah, it's great.
He's
Yeah.
personable. He's very well spoken. I think he's very direct, which I like.
Yeah.
I got to get together with him. He was hoping to come. He was in Hettinger, but it didn't work out my schedule to take him around down here. But I want to get him down and do the same thing because let's just face it. I probably even people that don't like me, I know them. So yeah, we'll go talk to them too.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Dan says the problem in North Dakota is the rural communities are getting smaller, the cities are growing, and it's not just North Dakota; it's everywhere. That's happening everywhere, and we got a lot of people moving in from not in the state. You know what I mean? They don't have any even ties here. They're coming in from California. They're coming in from Washington and Oregon and Pennsylvania and Virginia. I can't believe all of a sudden the influx of Virginia people coming in South Dakota in the last 2 years. And that's not good. Are they fleeing because they want freedom, or are they fleeing and coming out here? Because I was just reading some articles about some things in South Dakota, and these two people moved out there and they took jobs in pretty, I don't know, they're too close to the elections for me. And they only been here 2 years. One is from Illinois and one is from Virginia, and they are not the same ideology as us. They truly are not. And I think we're seeing too much of that. And if you're fleeing your state now, that's so bad. It took till now. I'm not sure we want you.
Right.
Because obviously you were okay with everything up to that point.
Yeah. I think I saw a data survey where it's like North Dakota gained I thought it was like an 18% population in since 2010 or something like that. I'm like, that's a little scary that we're growing that much, because I think we're one of the tops.
Was still part of the oil boom,
right?
But in a lot of them stayed, but a lot of it isn't. After you get past the oil boom, people started. 2020, we saw a lot of people come out here because, again, they were fleeing their commie states, but they brought their ideas with them, and that ain't good. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it in some of the local elections in these places where they've settled. So let's see. Access, how many cows are your parents milking, Dawson?
We were milking 1,000.
Whoa,
3 times a day. So I don't know, 36 rotary parlors. So yeah. Keeps us busy.
I know. As many times I drive by there. You know what? I have to go to Bismarck next week. Might get a hold of you. I'd love to see it because you always say stop by, and I've never done it. I've never seen a big dairy like that.
Just stop in, and I'll be in the calf barn, and so just holler at me, and I can give you a tour. By all means, stop by.
So I know David's still on board here, but before we transition to there, I want to get to a couple of these questions that you and I had talked about. So, and I want to give you a chance to answer them.
Absolutely.
One was, why did you leave or quit the North Dakota Young Republicans?
Well, that's interesting that you sent me that thing, because I was
maybe you didn't. I just got asked the question, so maybe
we're fair. Yeah. The question that got sent, because I never did quit them, and so I didn't attend their membership in December because I had another complication, and I just didn't renew my membership. And so when you sent me that text, I was like, oh, I forgot to renew my membership, and so now I am a member, and I didn't know that I relapsed on that.
So and that's why I like to ask stuff like this, and now it's corrected, right?
Yep, it's corrected, and I'm a part of the YRs. They're a great, organization. They really bridge the gap between activists and getting people from the activist stage into candidates. And I think that's what we need to do more on, because there's a lot of great people, maybe that are not even young, but the YRs, they go all the way up to 40. That's a lot of people that should be serving in legislative roles, cities, mayors.
Yeah,
and
I don't
stuff
qualify
like
age-wise anymore.
I
know Delvin real well.
Program, so you would definitely qualify in that.
Well,
so.
I know Delvin real well. I know he was pretty involved with them, and now he's a district chair. I think he's still a district chair. And Delvin is that guy is a patriot. Him and his wife are both patriots. And then of course they got West River Implement up there. And I bought a post pounder from them, and the reason was because I knew their ideology aligned with mine. That I do shop that way. So
absolutely.
And the other one is, why do you believe that the North Dakota Beef Commission should have a dairy producer on it? And I think you were pretty instrumental in working on that, right?
Yeah, it's long story short, because this is a very complex topic, and I was
And you and I we discussed it.
Yeah,
And yeah.
and we discussed it. And so basically right now, there's the Beef Commission is set up with many members reporting to the Beef Commission. And on the Beef Commission, there's your dairy rep, livestock market rep, and then your at-large members and so on and so forth. And right now, the Beef Commission is appointed by their organization. So dairy internally appoints someone to the governor. We usually submit 2 people, and then the governor submits or selects one of the 2 people to serve on the board. Last session, there was a bill to try to structurally change the Beef Commission into more of an election process. I'm all for elections. Don't get me wrong. I was elected by an election, so I understand the process. And so they were trying to structure it in a way that would turn it into districts, a lot like the legislative process, in where I believe there was 8 districts, if I'm remembering correctly, and then it would be off of cattle population, and then they wanted an odd number, and then they removed dairy from the commission. And I was like, dairy's vitally important to beef, because when a dairy cow isn't producing, it goes to beef, and we need our voice there, because honestly, with the price of milk right now, which is horrible, this is honestly how a lot of dairy farmers are staying in business. And so we need to be at the table. And it wasn't that I really disagreed with them, because I agreed a lot on principles with them. It's just that it just really it was very clunky. And I'm in the situation in the legislature where you just don't pass policy that's not ready. And I was like, we'll come back next session. Maybe we can work on something like that. I know they have a lawsuit with the state of North Dakota, so maybe that'll be on hiatus with any legislation pending wherever that goes on their lawsuit, which it'll be interesting to see what happens if the legislature was in rights or we were in the wrong, which I'll own either way, because that's up to the court's decision. And so that's kind of it in a nutshell. But
Right.
we need to also, with the elections, there was also a pretty expensive thing to send out ballots, and I think that was kind of over calculated, because they said it was going to cost $20,000 to send out ballots and all that. I'm like, we should just find a way to make it cheaper, where it's like our district conventions, and where everyone gets together at your your local coffee shop, and then whoever attends from that, then we true grassroots support. And that's how I think an organization or a beef commission thrives. And so,
And like I told you, well, take that extra $1 they decided to pass in 2015 and use 20,000 of that you confiscated from me. As you can tell, I have a pretty biased opinion of beef checkoff. But
yeah.
so I want to read to everybody. I know this has nothing, it don't have nothing to do with guns in the 701 necessarily, but it is an important industry in the state of North Dakota. And I like the question. That's why we asked it. But the mission statement is: serve North Dakota beef producers while increasing beef demand by strengthening consumer trust and exceeding consumer expectations. So there's a lot wrapped up in that statement as to the good intent, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
But when I look and see, so the commission consists of 3 beef producers, 1 cattle feeder, 1 dairy producer, 1 representative of a public livestock market, and 3 at-large representatives. Now, I don't know who the at-large representatives are, because it doesn't say. Where are they? Do you know where they're from? What do they represent? Can they be anybody? It doesn't say, even on their website. I guess, do you have any insight to that?
Really, I guess I thought that they were beef representatives, but maybe they're going through with their lawsuit. I know they've been going through some changes and stuff like that. So it's, but I
mean, that's kind of concerning to me, unless they have to be.
Right.
I mean, when you look at some of they say that they have to be a United States citizen and a resident of the state, actively engaged in that phase of the cattle industry the member represents, and actively engaged in that phase of the cattle industry for a period of 5 years, so 5 years or more. And then they've got some other, other things that you're supposed to do, and have ownership in the operation, and have a regular exercise direct control of the operation. But I seen that, and I was like, well, that's odd to me. And I even pulled up the Century Code, which is 4.1-03. It doesn't really define it there. So I'm trying to figure out how these 3 at-large represent, and it might be producers. I don't know, Dawson. I was just wondering if anybody knows, because it's a good question, really. And as far as changing things, yeah, I don't know how I changed. I know like IBAN. IBAN is a pretty large organization in the state of North Dakota now, which really is competition in North Dakota Stockman's. But why don't they have a seat there? I mean, seriously, there's a ton of real life grassroots producers there. Nothing against the Stockmans, but it's a lot of bull breeders. It just is.
Yeah.
I've been a member of it, and I'm not anymore because to me they got too big a board. But that's a whole nother discussion.
Absolutely, yeah. And I agree. I think that IBAN does need to be included, but it's hard that when this legislation comes and it's kind of like that. There's this rival faction between two groups, and that's kind of where it kind of stemmed from the last legislative session's bill. And it was very hard to try to move anything forward because they were constantly fighting, and then they were telling us legislators what to do, but they weren't in agreement. And so we're like, well, it's just not ready to fly. And so that's probably the most challenging part. Is I do agree IBAN doesn't need a seat, and I do agree that they in Stockman's as well, and I think that they can both coexist, and they should coexist. I also think that you should be on the board, and you should be giving your checkoff dollars like everyone else. If you're not giving your checkoff dollars, then you probably shouldn't be on the board. And so that's my personal opinion on that. So.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fair enough, except I think they don't just get the state ones, don't they also get part of the you got your dollar for the feds and comes back to the state, so everyone has to pay that. So I guess in a sense any producer that sells a head of cow, and I want to point that out. I asked you that before we come on air because this was a question that came up actually from multiple people. Evidently it was a pretty big thing to them because they knew you were involved.
Yeah.
And you guys sell cattle too. You have to. I mean, that's the nature of the business. Not every dairy cow is going to be there. I mean, you sell them. They go into the system and mostly the lean beef, right?
I would say so. Our bottom,
I'm thinking it probably goes.
Our bottom 20 to 30% of our, the ones that do not produce optimally, we sell for beef. And so it actually is quite a big chunk of your herd that if you're always doing 20 to 30% of your herd that is shifting out, and you got new
200 to 300 head.
Yeah, and so it is a lot. Yeah, especially with the price of beef is great when milk is in the trash. And
this is what I'm getting at, because a lot of the, and I think even you and I had this discussion one other time.
I think so. I
wondered why they should have a seat there myself. And then I got to thinking about this. You guys sell. You have to pay your dollar per head. You are contributing to that fund. And then when you read the mission statement, while increasing beef demand by strengthening consumer trust and exceeding consumer expectations. It probably does fall in line there, don't it?
Yeah. And I think the interesting part where a lot of people, we were just talking about that rural North Dakota keeps getting smaller and smaller. A lot of people don't know where their food comes from. And there's a lot of people that think Walmart, your local grocery stores, it just pops on the shelf or something like that. And so the commission has been great in educating schools in workbook materials, classroom educational tools for that. And so that's what I've actually seen as really positive outlook, is really like, oh, you have a beef producer down the road. That's where your beef comes from or stuff like that. And so it can be really for a kid that, is like, well, I don't really like beef, but then they tie it locally. Maybe that will then encourage, more people to eat meat and stuff like that. And so it's a great thing.
And like I said, I was kind of looking at numbers and going, wait a second. There is a lot of dairy cattle that are probably entering that consumption market. So, I guess when I talk to these people now, I can say, listen, and your numbers are great. There's 1,000 head, 20 to 30% are cull. That's 200 to 300 head. That's probably a lot bigger. I know it's a lot bigger than some of the people that asked me about this. I mean, I'm only running about 120 pairs here. That's what this place can handle with producing everything itself, produce the hay, produce everything we need here. And I'm fine with that. I could go more, but I don't like to graze my pastures down to nothing. And I like to keep them in a rotation. I mean, I got one I probably grazed once last summer. And it didn't get grazed again, but it did get grazed. So I'm probably the unique one around here. I am not overgrazing. I am not overpopulated, and I don't want to be, because drought will come again.
Absolutely.
It's
hopefully not this year. So
no, but it's if you're in ranching and you're in it or farming. If you're in either
Yep.
one long enough, drought visits you at some point,
It does.
and you need to be prepared. And that's why I don't like taking my pastures down, because I want to have, even dead growth is better than nothing. I can supplement that.
Yeah.
And
But
you still
I
gotta
would
get a
like
little-
I would like to say, Clayton, we just got to keep having this discussion because it seems like there's a lot of gray area with this commission, and it seems like there's a lot of where it seems like a lot of people are unhappy, and so we need to find where both Stockman's, I-band, all the at-large people, dairy can all come together and a workable solution that everyone can agree on. Because I think this is 3 or 4 sessions that we've had a bill, and it just seems like everyone gets defeated after, because they're like, we've put all of our eggs in one basket for this bill, and then the legislature kills it, and then we gotta start back all over with the grassroots. And so that's my plea for anyone that maybe disagrees with me for a dairy representative, is put together a solution and come call me. My phone's always open. I would love to hear
It is.
how we can have a solution, because it's one thing to just complain, but it's another thing to have a solution. So if you're complaining, come to a solution. I'm all ears for you if you have a solution for this, because
Well,
it is something in the in animal agriculture that is it wears on a lot of people, and it's I'm very unfortunate that we're
Well,
so
it's
divided.
still the biggest industry in the state of North Dakota.
It is.
I mean, oil's right up there too, but you know what I'm getting
Mhm.
at. Agriculture is a huge part of this state. It's going to be how it will be. That's what's changing. We will see where this goes. I hate seeing, I shouldn't say, I don't like the word hate. I very much dislike seeing how big some of these farms are getting. And I'm not so much cattle producers out west here, but when you look at how big and how many of these little places are being consumed and gobbled up, that's not good.
Yeah.
Because that's less people in the area, and we were just talking about the shrinking rural area. Well, there's a ton of reasons why there is,
Mhm.
but we're out of time to talk about that tonight. So,
Right, that would be a whole other podcast.
but
which would
I
love
wanted to
do
make sure I
that.
got those questions, because those were
Yeah,
the two.
absolutely. I
You and I
appreciate
hit personally about the antelope gratis tags, but I think we'll save
Mhm.
that for another time.
Yeah.
And your vote on there, and I think we I think we understand each other where we're at on that now.
I think so, and I think if I would like to address that, I think that when it comes to that bill, the unfortunate thing is that when we see a bill and I don't hear anything from constituents or anything like that, and lobbyists come talk to me and they're very supportive of it. I only hear one side, and I would definitely change my vote if it would come back. But I didn't hear from any constituents, and I'm like, this looks like an okay bill. All my colleagues are supporting it that I would usually vote with. And then I was like, okay, yeah. But that's why we have 2 chambers, the House and the Senate. And so if there's we've had multiple bills this last session where it was like, oh yeah, it just flew by easily in the House because we didn't see anything. But then the people actually figure out what's in the bill, and then they're like, put all the people in the grassroots to the Senate to stop this bill. And so I think that we need to be more transparent as lawmakers too on bills that are coming out and stuff like that, because I felt really bad about that, because when you called me,
yeah,
I was like, I was like, what are you talking about? All the hunting people are on board with it. He's like, Dawson, no, we're not. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm like, I feel like I let you guys down, which is unfortunate.
And it really did, being it originated in the Senate. Senator
Mhm.
Cleary,
Yeah.
and then the backcountry idiots, and that is who they are. I got no use for them people. They are not friends of the hunters. They never will be, and they know that what I think of them, and I make no apologies for it, because I can prove up and down all day long that they're horrible for actual landowners and hunters. But anyway, as far as that goes, I didn't catch wind of it till someone told me about it, and then that's why I didn't call you at first, because I didn't even know about it. I was watching gun bills.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it slipped through. Can it be corrected? Possibly. I can tell you this. If they try what I think they're going to try here, I'll just give you a heads up. It sounds like there's going to be a bill coming in 2027 that's going to try this crap with the deer tags. You want to have a war? That is not the way to go about the deer tag problem.
No.
And that's a whole other discussion with Game and Fish. So with that, I'm going to let you go, because I know you said you wanted to take off too, and I got David coming on. But Quick announcement. Mary Grainer is now, she's working on signatures. She's got everything filed. She will be running in District 31 for that Senate seat against Don. I would love to, I just want to thank her. I talked to her today. I think this is a great team that we can put together on the actual conservative side with you, Mary, and Karen, who, by the way, you and Karen didn't get the endorsement, but you didn't need that last time anyway. You weren't endorsed last time. They're bringing in the old usuals. They're bringing Jim back in. Don's running again. You said there's a Democrat challengers as well, but I think this is probably the most challengers in a primary in District 31's ever seen. So as far as I'm concerned, everybody, your team in District 31 is, if you don't want to see the Perry Schaefers and the Shane Gettles, and we saw how everyone loved Perry as the state chairman. He was a horrible state chairman. Shane was right there beside him, and I can give you all the details on that. I was on the internal part of District 31 for a while. But if you want to see a winning team that's going to listen to you, and I can tell you flat out, if you call Dawson, I know he answers. If he can't, he calls you back. Karen's the same way. So we have people that right now listen to us. I can tell you the people they're running, they don't care. They don't. So it's Karen Rohr, Dawson Holle, and Mary Grainer. That's your District 31 team, and that's who you want to vote for in this election cycle. Go ahead, and I'll let you close, Dawson.
Well, thank you so much, Clayton. And, each of us are getting our signatures. And so if you live in District 31, we would love if you would sign our petition and get us on the ballot, because, they can throw as much money as they want at this race. But if you don't go door knocking and actually show up to the people, that's what matters most. And, I think that's why I won in the first place, is because of people like you, Clayton, that helped me get connected, especially in Sioux County. And
we went driving around, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, I know. I got my pickup all muddy and dirty, and we had a grand old time. And so I'll be out there again. And so I'm just so humbled to represent District 31. And we really have Karen's been a great mentor for me in my first term in the House, and so I really hope that she wins with me. And so then we'll actually have a great working relationship, I think, as a district. So
well, and I will add to, and with Karen, I think I saw Karen's record even move farther to the conservative side this year than I've ever seen, and I think it's because she understands where the people are at, what they want. I noticed that. I'd had some great conversations with her, so I was happy to see that. And I'm telling you right now, she's right on board there with us, as I say, us, with the conservative people in District 31. Yeah. And Karen's she's a fighter for property rights too. So that's going to be an important thing coming up. It truly is. Well, Dawson, thanks for joining us. I'm going to let you run. I'm going to bring on David here, but appreciate you coming on, and I'm sure we'll be talking.
Oh yeah. Well, take care, Clayton, and
you too. Catch you later.
Yeah.
All right, before I bring David on, we're going to take a quick break because I've been horrible about that tonight, and I need to thank our sponsors. We cannot do this without our sponsors. So I'm going to go ahead and play a quick clip of our main two sponsors, and then we'll bring David Fettig on. I think he's got some news he wants to share with us, and I'm excited about it as well. We'll be right back in about 2 minutes.
LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalon's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalon and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just 1 block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemmon. Kalon's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
And we are back right here, Guns and 701 Network. David, you made it in.
Yes, I'm finally home. Finally home. It's good to be home.
You put on a few miles from what I understand.
I sure did. My proverbial butt is sore. I'm just happy to be home.
Well, here, it's only February, so we're looking at January, for another hog hunt next year. So we'll be booking some miles then too.
Oh, that's an easy trip.
I know you drove it most of the way last time.
Well, it's just safer to drive instead of letting Corey go through Memphis. Man, I'd already start walking.
All right. Well, so David, glad you were able to join us. Get on here tonight. You made it in, and big announcement. Big, another big thing happening here at Guns and 701, isn't it?
Yeah. This is gonna be exciting.
I'm excited. I can tell you that. And by the way, I'm going to put it up right now. Here it is. Oh, wrong place. Well, there it is in the corner. Whoops. I loaded it wrong. Look at that. I did a big grand and then boom, I screwed it up. So go ahead and tell us what you're going to do, and then I'll put it up there.
Well, we're going to do a new show, the 7-1 Marksman.
There it is.
That's the picture we got for now, the logo we have for now. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been screwing around in the background here, trying not to make sure I don't override something you got going on, because I'd hate to put something right over the top of what you're doing in the middle of this show, because it's like, I better not. I don't know.
Things happen.
They started playing with stuff.
I like that. I do.
I just got to get the resolutions right.
So you got that in your folder, right?
Yes, yeah. I've been stuffing stuff into my folder and
Awesome.
playing with different things.
Now I just got to teach fans how to use them folders.
Well, resolution's the hard part. A lot of the software doesn't want to do the resolutions correctly. So
very true. No, I like that. That was a cool clip. It really was. Awesome.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit.
And I think I've got the ads loaded on there for you because we got to run those. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Can't do it without them.
So go ahead. Why don't you tell them what's happening, when it's happening, and what you got happening on it?
Well, before we go too far, we just got done talking to Dawson.
Yes.
And I did serve briefly in District 31 as a at-large member.
Yes, you did. Yep.
And Karen salted the earth. I don't think you could find a more humbling person next to Dawson and Mary. Realistically, you have 3 people right there really, really looking out for our own community.
Especially when you contrast it to who's running.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was the one vibe I got when I did serve, was after the first meeting. It was very clear I was not on their side of ideas.
No,
and they made it very clear they didn't even want me at those meetings.
Yeah, and we had a chance there. We did. You got on there when I was on there. At first, we all got. Then of course I didn't make it because we just didn't have enough people. Remember we had that winter storm that hit, and a lot of people from the Carson area that were coming over to vote our ticket. A lot of them votes were 4 to 5 votes short, and we had at least 10 to 20 people coming that didn't make it there.
Yeah, and that was nuts.
Otherwise, we could have swept it,
day.
And then we could have made some changes. But hey, you know what? That's the way it goes. And when that happened, though, you guys were basically a 50-50 committee, so it was hard to get anything done.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, let's move on to the agenda for the evening. We're going to start talking about competitive shooting. We're going to start talking about reloading, guns, what it takes to be competitive.
Yeah.
And the first show, I decided to pick Garth Weber. We were hoping to do the show sooner, but he's a very dedicated competitive shooter. he shoots 4 or 5 different types of pistol. He shoots several different rifle. The guy's into everything. He's actually in Phoenix right now shooting the Midwinter National for pistol.
Oh, really?
I give him a little crap for it because a lot of the guys are down there shooting the Southwest National, which is the rifle side of Phoenix up on the north side. So it's if you're in Phoenix, Arizona right now, you're probably one of the safest states in the whole damn country. It's just
kind of like when our group, when we were traveling, wherever we were, that was the safest room at that moment.
That's very true. Yeah. so I'm pretty excited. Garth's been texting me here. He had a pretty successful day today. He's knocking on Olympic scores, within arm's reach. Just got to get that corner. So I'm hoping to hear some good reviews for him here and be able to bring some good news for the show coming up.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. And it'll be cool because it'll be in the evening on Sunday evening, so I can tune in.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Maybe I'll have to tune in and run your stuff for you.
Yeah, maybe. I'm really hoping to get this stuff figured out. It's pretty touch and go. I apologize early on here for the future that some of it's going to be pretty janky. I'm trying to do a lot of stuff with very little time on hand. So
you've done pretty good, honestly. I've helped you a little bit there. We sat down and walked you through all the programming, but the best way to learn it is just do it, isn't it?
Yeah. Like I say, I wish that record start streaming button was green or something instead of red. I don't know why, but boy, oh boy, that's a little different when you're hitting the go button by yourself. You know
what?
Make sure you're doing it wrong or not.
They keep changing things. I will say they're very good about feedback when you go down that little help thing in the lower right hand corner. If you actually type something in, and being you've got access like I do here, and tell them what you're looking for, they do address it. Sometimes they change it, sometimes they don't. But the record and stream button thing really kind of threw me off because it used to be a different color and it was blocked. Now it's they don't. Not every change is good. Hey, everybody over there on X, I just got asked that. Yes, they've been having troubles. If you go to X, I haven't been on there now for a while. I'm looking at it right now, I guess. And you hit the profile and you hit the little live part, it will take you to the live. Man, X has had all kinds of troubles tonight.
Yeah. I've been trying to watch it here. It's kind of working on the app, but doesn't seem to be a connectivity between the restream.
The comments, and when before I even logged on live here, I logged into the system and it said we're experiencing difficulties with X, so I sent a message to them, and it's funny. Like I said, they answer and I go, they're having issues and they don't know why. Well, we've lost our counter a long time ago. I have no clue here. I have to actually go over to the other screen where I have X up so I can look at the count, which is, from what I can gather, it's because they want me to upgrade. They want all of us who went and got our blue checks and all that. They want us to upgrade to the next level now to get all the info. So I bet you that's what's going on. So who knows? We might not even be able to go live over there pretty soon. So anyway, episode 1, season 1.
Yep.
February 22nd.
22 day.
Yeah.
It's a good start. Everybody loves a good 22.
That's a great start. Yeah. I love my 222. I've had a lot of fun shooting it. 7 o'clock Central, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So, I mean, I can't think of a better way to spend the evening than talking guns and loads and whatever else comes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. More or less, I mean, we just need to get everybody to realize that the show's starting up. Come on out and sit down, grab your beer, grab your popcorn. If you got a question, write it down. Don't forget it. It's the best way to do the show is it's going to be a bit of Q&A. I got a few other guys lined up already that want to do the show. And
right.
I mean, I got a guy that will actually have 2 different world team shooters. One from.
Wow. Pretty cool. Oh, did I lose you? We lost him. Here, let me bring him back on here. Oh, yeah, you're back. Yeah, what happened there?
Oh, apparently they don't like hearing I have world team shooters coming.
There we go.
So
go ahead and pick back up.
Yeah. So anyway, not sure where we got cut off at, but I got 2 separate
basically said defensive gun or whatever you were talking about, your gun shooters, and then gone.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got one from Team USA and one from the Canadian team.
Okay.
They both shoot TR, so this is a world cycle. This is where, I mean, we're coming into competitive Olympics at this point, NRA style or world style
Oh, yeah.
shooting. So I don't know. It's going to be an entertaining conversation because right now all the boys are starting to hold their cards a lot closer. Every little edge they can gather before they go. I think they're going to be going to Bisley, England this year.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's
We'll
where
have
it
a
is this
cup
year.
of
I haven't
tea.
checked yet.
We have some crumpets and tea.
Oh yeah, they're the British fellers. Those guys know how to shoot. So, but then again, it's windy there all the time.
And regardless of their horrible gun laws, let's face it, they used to have a culture of a lot of great marksmen.
Oh yeah,
At one time.
absolutely, yeah. So I think it'd be fun. I think that conversation is gonna be pretty good. I've talked to a couple other guys that are fairly respectable in their disciplines. There's going to be a lot to be learned, and I really hope that everybody brings their questions. But up front and center, our goal is to get more people to recognize that you are within minutes, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours of any simple competition you'd ever want to try.
Really? Yeah, ain't that something? And people don't know that, do they?
No, they don't. I mean, I can tell you right now, you could pick up one of your guns, probably your AR, and you can go shoot across the course. Shooting 200, 300, and 600. And
unbelievable.
I mean, you could do that almost every weekend or closely every weekend here in North Dakota.
Well, and I don't know how many times I've told people this. People do not understand the range availability. I'm talking outdoor and indoor ranges across this state. And not just rifle, but rifle, pistol, even archery, and shotgun. I mean, I've never seen this many ranges in a state. South Dakota don't have that. And the amount of indoor ranges far outweighs most of the states around us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just seen that the NDSSA, the North Dakota Shooting Sports Association, posted the schedule for the year, and it's been updated since January 9th. I mean, I'm seeing what appears to be pistol matches in West Fargo, Grand Forks, Devil's Lake, Minot.
Right.
We start looking at air pistol and stuff. West Fargo, we got matches at the indoor range here in Bismarck, Devil's Lake, Grand Forks. Yeah, if you're on the east side of the state, you don't have an excuse not to be competitive. Just go out, say hi, pay the $15-20 for a match. Don't look at the scoreboard. Just go out there to experience and have fun your first time out there.
Yeah,
I mean, you're always going to have fun once you go, and
you're going to learn a lot just in that first time.
Oh, absolutely. It's not like motorsports. I think that's the easiest way to tell anybody about competitive shooting is motorsports.
Okay.
In motorsports, somebody is always willing to give you nearly unuseful information, telling you what size, what kind of timing you should use, what radiator cap you should use, your tire pressure, whatever. There's a lot of lack of information and good faith, and I've never once seen that in competitive shooting.
No, that's very true. I mean, I would say that hunting's the same way. Anybody that gets involved in shooting sports, hunting, I can't think of too many guys. They might not tell you the best spot to go hunting, but they'll definitely show you how to do it. And give you pointers. Same with the competitive shooting world. I haven't been a competitive shooter, but I've been around it enough that it's friendly competition, isn't it?
It is. It's friendly behind the line.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at. But
I mean,
it's all business when you get out there.
It's like watching that professional fighter, the two that are buds when they're not under contract, but the day of the contract comes, boy,
hey, someone scanned our code. We appreciate that. Thank you.
That's new. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Hey, you guys should do that again. I want to see that again.
Yeah, actually, I should. Anyone that's listening, thank you, because we've actually seen quite a few of them kinds of things coming in because we have, got it on the Facebook page, on the Twitter page. But yeah, thank you. Subscribe or just donate. We appreciate it. We truly do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't stay up with us if you don't subscribe, right?
That's right. Yeah. Oh, I didn't get to some of those. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, I just I can't. I just got to say, I encourage everybody, go out and check it out. Tune in on Sunday because on the 22nd. You're going to get a lot of information that night. And David is a wealth of knowledge, trust me. And I'm telling you, he will be as helpful as he can and get you set. I know that you've helped out Paul and a few others. I think if you're even remotely interested, tune in because you're, hey, thanks again. We just got another one. Appreciate that.
Thank you. 3. Got 3.
So,
wow.
Yeah, I really do encourage everybody to tune in, listen, get some information. I'm sure that David can, he might even put his phone number up there for you, or at least your email, and you can get a hold of him, get a hold of me, and definitely we will get you hooked up and in the right direction. And it doesn't just have to be rifle competitive shooting like that. There is an awesome trap shooting, I guess you call circuit in this state too. It's not really that known, but tons of shotgun. Oh, I think someone's messing with us now. No.
Right.
But I think there's a
ton
of shotgun competitions you can go to for trap, sporting clays. If you've never shot sporting clays, I do encourage you to go be humbled.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'd be absolutely humbled.
And I don't know
if I had to use a shotgun, I'd go hungry. There's no way.
5 stand ranges around here too. I'm not sure, but I know there's a huge trap range up in Minot, which there's also a huge indoor shooting range up there, and I imagine they've got an outdoor rifle, don't they, David?
They do. I think their competitive shooting program is next to none. As far as that,
Okay.
I've never been there. I've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen. I'm looking at the schedule here.
Right.
I don't see a single thing. Light rifle match in December, so I'm assuming that's probably an indoor match in Minot. So I couldn't tell you. I've never had a reason to go up to Minot for a match.
Right.
I love to go up there. I mean, it's always fun to go somewhere new.
Oh, here, Leon puts up there. Those are 2 ranges right there that are in that Red River Valley area. So yeah, you want to check it out. Shooting Park at Horace. Oh, I forgot about over at Horace. I've actually been on that one back in the day. Yeah. So anything else you want to add and let them know, or Enderlin? Yep. Enderlin. Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of clubs out there. I mean,
Zap's got one up here. I mean, Bismarck.
Yeah.
Got 2 public ranges, one south of Bismarck, one south of Mandan. I think they're both game and fish ones.
They are.
Of course, you've got the big indoor one up by Moffett,
outdoors at Moffett.
The outdoor one's at Moffett. The indoor one's Bismarck, isn't it?
Yep. It's the same club,
yes,
but it's 2 facilities. Yeah, we're looking at something big and new this year. I know I've been kind of buggy to give old Governor Armstrong a shake about doing a little promotion for our upcoming honor here.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping. Yeah. I don't think he liked my vote, so.
Well, you never know. This is an inaugural thing, Kelly.
Absolutely.
Just saying, if you're paying attention this evening,
Brian says that's right.
More.
The SAR PC, that's in Dickinson. They've got one too. Like I said, there is a wealth of range. I know Williston has a range up in that area. I visited when I was in that area. Of course, Bismarck, or not Bismarck, Jamestown has one. If you get over there by Arthur, North Dakota, there was one that I used to go to when I was in college.
Yeah, the old SA. Did I lose you guys again?
I don't know. I think the Gremlins are playing with us here. That's weird.
There you go. The SARPC.
There you go. Perfect.
That's the gun club that's up there by Manning. My grandfather that got me into shooting. He was a big member of that club. I think he was on the board for a few years. And old Harlan Heinley.
I'm telling you, there's a ton of ranges out there. There really is. I don't even know them all. I mean, none of them listed on North Dakota Shooting Sports Association, if they know about them, isn't there?
The thing of it is a lot of people don't know that NDSSA is a thing. You make a mention to it to random peoples in different clubs.
They're like, huh?
I mean, we have a PRS circuit, the Badlands competition line. The Badlands 600 PRS. They do PRS bench. They're not a part of NDSSA. I just don't understand why they're not. They really should come around or make a phone call or something, because I love to see their matches put on the schedule.
Well, yeah, I mean, get the word out there. I'm just going to share it for you guys here. There it is, right there.
There you go.
This is North Dakota Shooting Sports Association. They got, I mean, everything's right here. You got your junior, and they have one of the best junior shooting programs I've seen, and I've seen a bunch of them. You know, I mean, South Dakota's is nothing compared to North Dakota's, and it hasn't changed much as far as I know, as well as the surrounding states. Wyoming's got some pretty good young shooters, but North Dakota has a great program, and it shows by the amount of Olympic shooters that have come out of North Dakota.
Oh,
People
yeah.
don't even know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can subscribe now. Well, we should do that.
We got,
701 should subscribe, right?
Yeah, well, you type into there. Yeah, like we got Katie's on. She's a small town girl from the eastern part of the state. She's an animal. I think she's more than likely going to be our local recipient to be an Olympian someday.
Cool.
I mean, she's right up there. She's kicking butt in every direction possible. I mean, she's got to be tired from doing all the butt kicking she's doing. I mean, I know I need to stop, take a drink if I was eating as good as her.
Let's see. I'm going to click on silhouette. There, I'll just put that there.
But while you're doing that, when we were talking about the youth program, I do got a gentleman that is a great representative for the North Dakota Youth Program. He's been doing it for, oh, crap, probably 20 plus years.
Yeah?
And he is as passionate as you could be about getting kids into competitive shooting.
That's
and I think that's
Tommy.
phenomenal. That's Tommy.
Yeah.
Tom Thompson, yep.
So, and is he going to come on?
I believe so. I believe so. That's going to be a fun show. I don't know anybody that is more invested into competitive shooting. He's the heartbeat of competitive shooting in this state. He really is. I don't know what he doesn't do.
Yeah, he always was very involved. And all disclosure, me and Tommy have had some differences, but I can tell you right now, there's just nobody out there like Tom who runs them junior programs, and he's a huge asset. He really is. I mean, I can have differences with somebody and still realize that they are an instrumental part to what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to find it here. There's
your upcoming events for 2027 annual meeting already. Wow.
Yep, it's already in the schedule. If you
January
scroll up
23rd.
a little bit on the page.
Yeah.
You keep scrolling, keep going. Right there in the middle, right underneath the logo there, where it says NDSA 2026 scheduled matches. Right below the bald eagle. There you go. Click on that bad boy.
So I will have to reshare that page because it's coming up on a different.
Oh, yep. Yeah, it's a PDF. Yep.
Yeah. So just give me a minute. We can do that. Stop sharing.
Quick sneak peek.
We'll share that one.
I wish I could see what you're doing now.
Yeah, well, it's coming. There we go. There we go. So here it is.
That's what I'm looking at here. I'm not sitting here cross-eyed. I'm not that tired. But that's actually what I've been looking at on my screen here.
Well, look at January, guys.
You have the date, the
February,
match,
yeah, there you go.
location, who is the contact, that is usually the match director, and their phone number.
Denny Coulter's still involved. Wow. He was involved when I was back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are coming up now on, of course, be the 12th tomorrow. So nothing this weekend that don't look like. Or is it? Yeah, right there, the 14th. Valentine's Day, military and lever action, Bismarck. There you go. Eric,
Tom Liebel.
I know Eric. His wife was involved with our NRA deal. Oh, that's why NDSU. Yeah, Eric was instrumental when we give them their first grant, getting that NDSU team going. So yeah.
There's so much to do. There really is.
You just look at February. There's no lack of opportunity here, everybody. No lack whatsoever. Indoor cowboy action. That's taking March 1st, Bismarck. West Fargo, Air Pistols, state champions. Yeah, there's just a ton of stuff there. I mean, and I got to tell everybody, so after I visited with Nate Brown last weekend, and we were talking a little bit about what was going on and how things are structuring out with NRA and the foundation, and with, I think you're going to be very pleased in competitions because it looks like you're going to see that money start. It's going to take a while because they're still in their lawsuit. There's a ton of it still stuck in the foundation, but from here on out, I think you're going to see them things actually going on. Let's see. Check out my buddy Jeff Essler for the youth shooting program. There you go. Harlan made shooting silhouette at the Dickinson match. There you go.
Yep.
We knew Harlan well. Yeah. So, well, we're pretty much at our 2-hour mark. The night went fast, but
it always does.
I'm glad you're able to come on and share that. And again, guys, you don't want to miss this. Sunday, February 22nd, 7 p.m. Central, 6 Mountain. He's going to have Garth Weber on, and you guys are going to have a great show talking about competition, shooting, probably, I don't know, you probably get into the competition side of it, the building probably, who knows? There's such a wealth of knowledge there. I'm sure you're going to go down some rabbit holes.
Well, unfortunately, 2 hours ain't nearly enough. So what we do know for sure is I'm fairly certain that Garth will be a multi-time repeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
I figured we start out with he's the guy that got me into this sport, and I couldn't think of a better person to start the show with.
Oh, that's great. That's good news. So looking forward to it, David. So I will let everybody know that, again, Friday, of course, Mitchell in the morning, 8:15 Central, 7:15 in the Mountain. Me and Todd are going to break it down a little bit. I'm going to try to have a happy ending chronicle. I haven't had one for a while. We'll be talking about some South Dakota gun bills. There was a slew of them. Some of them went to the passage of to refer to the 41st day. Well, there is no 41st day in the state legislature in South Dakota. It means it's an easy way to be dead on arrival is what they do. But we're going to talk about a couple of those. And who knows? I've seen some other things. Virginia's got some crazy things going on. And, of course, the suppressor thing, I got a few more details on. But I think we pretty much covered it, but we'll go over a little bit of that. So tune in for that. Leon will be following up Friday night, 5 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Central with Blackbeard Logic. Of course, Sunday, we got the Sportsman Sunday Devotion with Vance Bishop, 7 o'clock a.m. Mountain, 8 o'clock Central. You're not going to want to miss that. And, of course, starting next week, Guns in the 701. This program moves to Thursday night. Same time, same place, Thursday nights for 6 weeks. And that's why I can go to Lent services. So keep that in mind, everybody. Anything else you want to say before we sign off tonight?
No, I think the old saying is keep your powder dry, ain't it?
Oh, keep your powder dry, keep your Bible handy. Everybody, God bless everybody, and have a great weekend coming up here. I guess it's only Wednesday, but what the heck, right?
It's only tomorrow, right?
It's only tomorrow. All right. We'll talk to everybody next week.